Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be starting a new series which involves natural language processing in Python. So, we're going to be using the natural language toolkit, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process of how we go about doing this natural language processing. So we're going to gather data from a source, we're going to pre-process the data, clean the data up, ready for the analysis tools, and then we're going to use things like machine learning in there as well with Keras, so that we can make predictions about the text, classify text, even generate text using an LSTM network, which is pretty fun. So first off then, what is natural language processing? If you're not really into data science, you won't really know what it is. But it's one of the more interesting areas of data science, just because it's quite a powerful thing, and I didn't realise it initially, but I've been doing some stuff like this at work recently, and it kind of flicks a switch in my head anyway, that all this data is out there, ready to be used, and if you have the tools, you really can use it. It's quite impressive. So natural language processing then is essentially determining some kind of meaning, or trying to understand a body of text. So that body of text could be a sentence, it could be a book, it could be a paragraph, a news article, or even a social media post. But it's doing it sort of from a programming perspective. So there are certain words in a sentence, for example, that are not important, right? There are certain parts of words that are not important. And these are the kind of things that we can filter out during the data pre-processing stage, and we're going to go through all that. So why is it useful? Well, natural language processing is useful because ultimately we're heading down that AI route, right? Because of the big data explosion. And there's more and more data being gathered about each of us every single day. And this is just a result of the tools and the applications that we're using. You've got the cloud, you've got all these different social media outlets. There's just so much data being gathered every single day. And currently, people are just kind of collecting it, because they know the power of it, combined with machine learning and how it can advance them and their business and all these other different things. But social media is kind of the big one for me, because essentially there's an infinite amount of text available on social media, and you can literally pull it all down via APIs. So Twitter, for example, has an API where you can pull down an entire account's tweets. And the stuff you can do with that data, which is what we're going to do in this module, is you can determine so much about a person or an account or anything. You can determine whether they're a positive person, they're a negative person, what kind of words do they use the most, do they swear, do they are they work oriented, things like that. Just sort of the things that you wouldn't think could be used, which is why it kind of flicked in my head, is that people publicly, willingly put all that data out there about themselves, and they don't necessarily understand what tools can be used with their data and how people can use it against them, or even in their favor, which is what things like Amazon and Netflix do. They just collect your data and try to enhance your experience, or at least that's what they tell us, right? You don't know. So yeah, it kind of made me rethink what you put out there. I try to keep all my social medias private. I actually only use Instagram and Twitter, and I barely use Twitter, but I kind of use it for news. So yeah, it depends how you look at it, but certainly from a data science perspective, it's extremely interesting because you can determine so much from just text. It's quite powerful. So for this video, just to get started, I'm going to show you the environments that we're going to be using to do the programming. So what we're going to do is use something called the Natural Language Toolkit, which is a Python library, and it's awesome. There's so much good stuff in there. I'm going to show you parts of it. Some of it, there's so many elements to it that I'm not going to show you, but you can explore via their documentation and things like that. But we're going to be using Anaconda to do to manage our environment in Python, and then we're going to use Jupyter Notebook to do the programming. And Jupyter Notebook it's essentially like an executable Word document, and for data science it's so awesome because it's kind of laid out perfectly, really nice. You can have graphs in there with descriptions, and right under you can have a block of code that you can run. It's awesome. I recommend you use it. And Anaconda is just the environment. It's an open source Python distribution basically, and it handles libraries and all that other stuff. So if you haven't got Anaconda installed, all you want to do is go to this link, and if you scroll down, you want to pick your operating system, hit the download button, and that'll give you Anaconda. And you just want to run through the installer. It's super easy. It's your basic click next, click a checkbox, that kind of thing. Once you've installed it, run Anaconda Navigator, and you'll be greeted with something like this. And what you want to do then is install Jupyter Notebook. So you can see it here, and mine just has a launch button under it. But if you haven't got it installed initially, which you probably don't, you want to click the install button, and you can see under some other stuff I've got that green install button. So you want to install it. Once it's done, you want to hit launch, and what it'll do is it'll open up a localhost server, which is how Jupyter Notebook works, and you'll see this kind of directory of files and folders. So what you want to do is go into the Anaconda 3 folder and click env, which is for environments. Now, I recently released a video about environments. I highly recommend you check that out because it's so important that you understand environments first. If you try and jump straight in and you don't understand how to use the environments, you'll run into problems with libraries and library clashes and just bugs and things like that. You don't need it. So I'll link that video below. Go and watch it. Just make sure you understand environments and how they're used, and come back and then you'll know what I'm talking about here. So these are my environments. We've got 4 of them here, so I'm just going to select a random one, and and we're going to create a new Jupyter Notebook, right? So in the top right, click new and select a kernel, and you can see it opens up a new file, and basically it's like I said, it's kind of like a executable Word document. So if we can press M, we can click on the cell and press M, and it changes that cell to a markup cell, and we can just use some markup commands, and we just do, say, we can do a hello world, right? Then you hit shift enter, it runs that cell. But now in here we can also put some code, so we can do hello world and run that, and you get an output directly under your code cell, which is awesome. For displaying data, as I said, it's amazing. You really want to get into it. So that's about it for this video. I basically just wanted to explain a bit to you about what natural language processing is. Hopefully now you've got a bit of a better understanding, and I wanted to show you the environments and stuff that we're going to use, just so that we can move on quicker with the course rather than getting bogged down in that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to be using this in the future. I'll probably use the command line version of Anaconda as opposed to the graphical version. It's the same thing, just follow along, you'll be fine. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching as always. Subscribe if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.